Hi, and welcome to Second Impressions. This is Estound's web series where we discuss real questions about marketing and provide business insiders with insight on important issues, everything related to marketing and questions you have about marketing related to your business. I'm Trevor Heaton, and I've got my colleagues Greg Bond and Erik Wolf with me. Gentlemen.
Well, hello, Trevor.
Well, hello, Erik.
Well, hello. We got the highs down, but people aren't going to know when they watch this. This is take 3, and it was a rough start. So hopefully we have to come.
We're now officially on, like, what does that make this? Is this 5th impressions or?
Yeah,
we're gonna have somebody's gonna have to create a bloopers reel because I of all the ones we've
maybe really well highlights at the end. Look
at it as sort of like, like that Wu-Tang album that they made, but there was only one copy and no one's ever going to get to hear it. Like,
people will get to hear
it's brilliant.
I'm going to make that
our most brilliant work, and we're just not going to share that because the world isn't ready.
Right. I'm going to make it happen. We are going to have a bloopers reel, and we're going to produce that one. So hopefully we don't bloop on this question. So we got Tammy, who is a software developer. She has a question for us. We've recently begun to struggle in filling our sales funnel with prospects. I'm not sure what's going wrong or where, but it seems like our message isn't getting across to the market. Help.
Tammy, we're here to help. So I think that the number one thing that I would look at in terms of clearly a connection is being missed. We've obviously gone through a year where we're experiencing a lot of change, perhaps messages that resonated a year, 9 months, even 6 months ago. Maybe those messages aren't feeling good anymore. And it's possible that Tammy has sort of relied on a formula that was working, and now all of a sudden things have changed and the formula is less successful. So I would suggest that now is a really, really terrific time to start talking to customers, start talking to people who are in the sales funnel, maybe even people who have recently recently passed on a project, and just kind of find out, hey, what's your world like right now? What resonates with you? What are the things that you find yourself responding to? What's your biggest need? What's your biggest problem? And it may just be that it's time to reconnect with customers and what they need.
I think the big thing with that is, are they speaking in the language that the customer is expecting to hear? I think a lot of times when you're in this sales funnel element, you begin to get inside your head. You're in the industry, you're speaking the industry's language, and instead of going out and basically seeing what's out there in these other areas, we pigeonhole ourselves into the way we normally talk. And one of the things, like right after this call, we're actually going to be having a call with a potential client discussing that exact thing, where they want to go into streaming production. So everybody has these events that they're going to be doing, and they're going to be virtual for the foreseeable future. And I think they're having some initial success in their discussions, but they know they want growth and they want more opportunities. And the question is, what's going to be the best way to get it? And it's not actually going to be to look at streaming production. It's going to be to look at people who are interested in, like, the quality of their streams and things like that. The people who are already looking into how to make this stuff work and do well. And so I think that's the area where a lot of sales falls on its face, is that it's not reaching the people where they're at, and instead it's always talking about things in their own language.
Yeah, and I think that in the case of, and this moves us out of the realm of software development. But to continue Greg's example, the folks who potentially are looking for really good streaming meetings, we're not talking about, our everyday Zoom stuff. We're talking about sales presentations. We're talking about company-wide training. We're talking about annual meetings. And so the customer isn't necessarily interested in the technology. What they're interested in is having a viable replacement for the types of things that they used to be able to do, and sort of the production value and the vibe that maybe they used to be able to have in their live meetings. That's a problem that needs to be solved in the industry.
I think software development is among the most guilty. That it's
absolutely, because we talk about solutions, right? We're talking about the technology. Well, hey, we've got .NET, and we've got Ruby on Rails, and we've got PHP. And so if you need those things, then we're here for you.
Yeah. The alphabet soup of solutions.
But that doesn't answer what you actually need as a customer.
Exactly. And we're seeing some huge successes by some companies that offer software services and managed services in general that essentially have oriented themselves into publishing first. They're like a publisher first, and then they offer services on the back end that you almost wouldn't notice if you had went to their website and poked around. Like, you would just think that they were discussing all the new things going on TikTok. Yet they offer like high-end security services, and they're discussing these things relative to the areas that people are familiar with.
So is it the messaging that's the problem?
I think it's a reach and a message. It's that initial traction that you're looking for, that initial interest. I think the quickest, a lot of salespeople are quick to kind of filter the world out because they want that perfect lead. They want that person who knows who they are, who says the right things, like in terms of what their requirements are. And they're like, we have all those things, so it's going to work. But and we know once you get out into the real world, it's always messy, and you're never going to have that perfect lead. So the question is, where are you going to find a good percentage of those leads that you'll then be able to foster a relationship with and bring them along on a journey towards making a high value purchase that you're able to offer?
Yeah. No, are we targeting the problem, or are we targeting the solution? And I think that a lot of times people target the solution, and it may be that there are a lot of reasons that this traffic could be dying out. It could be that they've tailored their landing pages and their campaigns around the solution, but maybe people aren't really shopping for the solution anymore. Maybe software development and these coding skills have become so commoditized that they're competing with different sources of traffic now than maybe they're used to. It could be that they're just aligned improperly with where their market really is. And so a lot of people are looking at the Band-Aid like, oh, all I have to do is change this one little thing and things are going to start working again. It could be that the industry as a whole is moving away from the types of message and the types of keywords or whatever the advertising strategy is. It could be that they're just not fitting in with what that ideal customer is looking for right now.
All right. So it kind of goes back to what I think, Greg, you mentioned meeting the customer where they're at, going back and reevaluating that, finding out what's important to the customer, because often what's most important to a business owner isn't connecting with their customer in the marketplace. So do you suggest or think that's a good place for?
I would say it's to get comfortable with the mess of ambiguity that goes on around a mainstream market. Everybody wants that person who's going to speak their language to them immediately. but there's a lot more value, a lot more potential for growth by hitting mainstream areas on the web versus trying to like find that niche. That niche has gotten, there used to be such, I would say, easier ways to kind of carve out niches digitally, but it's faded. We've gotten to the point where there's been mass consolidation and everybody's accumulating in specific areas, doing specific things. And you have to basically find what those crowds are in those areas and bring them to you gently.
It's good advice. And obviously this question is, could go pretty deep. I mean, there's a lot of additional information we could discuss.
Definitely have questions.
And I mean, we could probably spend an hour on a meeting with Tammy, which I think we're going to be doing. But, this is, I mean, for a lot of people out there, this is definitely a problem with COVID, and we've had to reevaluate how we're all approaching the marketplace and how we're looking at sales. And I think this is a common problem that a lot of people are seeing. So,
yeah. I just have examples after examples. So like all managed service providers or people who are providing security services, good luck getting away from like IT support as like a keyword.
Right.
It's like, we don't do IT support, but you have to kind of be in that area and then say, this is the kind of IT support we provide or whatever it happens to be. So there's just so many of these examples that it's like a discussion we have every day. And the big thing is get comfortable going into those weird areas, those areas that it's almost, we hate being on Twitter personally. Facebook and Twitter are kind of like the doldrums of like, we have to be on social media. If you want to do an author or publish a book, you have to have tons of numbers behind you. There's like these areas that I understand people's discomfort with. I totally have it too, even though it's my job. And essentially that's what we have to embrace to find those key points of success.
Right.
I think that the big thing is that all too often we try to define what we are to the marketplace and what it is that we're here to do. And the truth is that we have to become more and more comfortable, especially nowadays, with the idea that our customers define us as much and our market is as much as we want to say, well, we're software development, we're cybersecurity. Those things only matter if they're meaningful to the people that you're trying to sell to.
You know what the analogy of this is like every business owner is like that kind of pretentious artist.
Actually, that's a really good way of looking at it.
Yeah, we're all like the pretentious artists when it comes to our own business.
Oh, I would never dabble in the information technology support.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a managed security provider.
Yeah.
All right. With that, Tammy, I hope we covered your question. I know we're going to be talking some more, but if you're having the same type of issue and this is leaving you with more questions, feel free to reach out to us. Any marketing question that you're being faced with or challenged with in your business, email us at secondimpressions@estound.com, right there at the bottom of the page. And as always, we appreciate you joining us and giving us your time. Hopefully this was helpful for you. Everybody, the clock on the wall, Eric's wall back there, says that's all. Until next time, be well and safe.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.